Welcome, Built on Faith Homestead. Today, boy, our videos are getting harder and harder to crank out, it seems like. Too much going on. But today, I want to talk about purpose. So obviously, like grand scheme, right? Your purpose is to love and serve the Lord. But I want to talk about purpose with your animals, with your garden, with what you're doing with your family and your kids and all of that. One of the things I want to talk about today is purpose. Now, that doesn't mean that things can't be fun. It doesn't mean you can't have a good time. It doesn't mean you can't just do things for fun. There's a purpose sometimes in doing things just for fun. There's that relaxation time and all that good stuff. But today there's going to be a couple of rabbits that their life is going to end this afternoon because they have done their purpose. You're also going to see a video I recorded, I think yesterday, while we were outside working. Bo was taking a nap in the tiny house, and the girls were all outside helping me in the garden, right? And they were starting to learn. Leah was having to learn, or trying to learn, the difference between walking in the bottom part and walking on the raised up rows. But we had a purpose in that for her to start learning. And Luella was picking weeds, and we had a purpose in that with her starting to learn how to work in a garden. And we explained to her that one of these days maybe she'll get married and have a husband, and they'll raise a garden maybe, and they need to know how to do these kinds of things, right? So purpose, it's all about purpose. These rabbits, I could keep these rabbits forever and feed them until they die of old age, but I'm just dumping feed into them. Or I could go ahead and butcher them now, and these guys are actually going to be dog food, because they have reached the end of their purpose, and their last thing they're going to do as a rabbit is provide food for our dog. So the only animal that doesn't really have much purpose is our dog, Sylvie. She's just kind of fun to have around. Purpose, Exhibit A, right? So this is the garden that got weeded yesterday as we were out here. Part of the garden, right? We didn't get the whole garden weeded, but we did get part of it weeded. And so what's the purpose of that, right? Well, it's to get the weeds out, so that our plants have all of the nutrition available in the soil instead of the weeds, and instead of choking the roots out for what we want to grow, we got rid of the weeds, right? But then also, I want you to pay really close attention. All right, so here is where it stopped. Here's where I weeded yesterday. Here's where I stopped. Here's where I weeded. You see the difference in the soil, even in the rows, in the top of the rows? This is going to accept the next rain like a sponge. This dirt that has been chopped up on the top will accept the next little bit of rain we get like a sponge. That pepper plant did not make it, did it? I don't know if it rotted or if I chopped it yesterday. I may have chopped it yesterday. Anyway, we gotta get some more pepper plants anyhow. But with a purpose, right? This ground will accept that rain, that next little bit of rain that we get. This over here will accept it, but that first few drops of rain is going to run off. It's going to take a little bit of rain to soften up even these rows to get them to accept the rainwater. So you can tell the difference. So there is a purpose behind all of that work that we were doing yesterday, and there will be more purpose behind some more work. I'm hoping maybe to get another row or two in to this garden, maybe today as well. Things have just been crazy, and we haven't been able to spend the amount of time on it that we would like to. Here's part of the other trouble. We found rock. Look at this. Look at this. No wonder I couldn't disc it up. That's not just a rock, that's rock. Rock. It almost appears like there's an old foundation for an old building here or something, if I'm just being honest, but I don't know. Anyhow, You can tell this dirt is not nearly as loose on the top. Well, there's a big old gap in our green beans right there, isn't there? Anyhow, purpose. It all has purpose. Speaking of purpose, we had our first little harvest the other day and harvested some of our lettuce that we're growing, and it was delicious and tasty. And a few little baby radishes, and that was delicious and tasty. For anybody that would like to tell me what herb this is that I have planted, I would be much appreciated. I really don't have a clue. So part of the purpose of this video is tell me what herb this is, guys. Help me out. Now I know what this is. This is butterfly herb. No, wait a minute. Just kidding. That was a gift from somebody at the church. This is our dill plants growing up here. In this, and then here are our potato tower, which, as you can tell, I need to get out here and tie these potato plants up. It's kind of looking like it's got a bad haircut right now, but we can come out here and tie these up probably the next few days. Onions, more lettuce down there at the end. Things are looking almost like a garden if we ain't careful. Once again, this old twisted up cattle panel has a purpose now. These fire rings have a purpose as our raised beds, right? We will eat all of this stuff. One way that a garden can be purposeful is making sure you're planting what you're eating and not wasting time, effort, and energy planting stuff you're really not going to eat anyway. Another reason why those other rabbits are going to get butchered today is these little guys are about ready to go into the grow out pen probably next week. I've noticed them eating feed now, drinking water. Mama keeps kicking them off of her a lot of the time, and so they are being weaned, and we will put them in the grow out pen by themselves. And these guys are the same way. They're the same age, but there's a whole bunch more of them, and they're not quite as big as the other guys, but they're still looking good. Purpose, right? So the purpose of these little rabbits is one of these days they will go in the freezer and eventually on the barbecue grill. But they have purpose, right? I'll show you one more little batch of babies. These are our newest guys here. You guys are being bashful back in there, aren't you? You know, Mama's checking you guys out. Doesn't want all 30 people that watch our videos checking her babies out, do you, Mama? All right. There's our little ones hiding out in there. A couple of these guys. There's some like almost like charcoal colored ones. If they are any females in that, we might keep one of them, see if we can carry that color through. It's kind of a pretty color. These rabbits, if they weren't edible, right? If they weren't eating or weren't if we didn't eat them, I guess you could try to sell them and make some money. We do plan on getting to the point where we're selling a few every month to maybe help supplement the feed bill. But at the end of the day, if they don't provide something back to us, why would we have them? Once again, I'm not against cute and cuddly just because it's cute and cuddly, but why spend the money if they ain't feeding you back? They got to have a purpose. You got to make those hard decisions. Those little cute and cuddly little baby rabbits, they will be delicious and tasty right off the grill. Moving on. Obviously, the chickens have purpose besides eating food scraps, right? And eating a little bit of grain. Their purpose is to lay eggs and eventually provide meat once we get to that type of setup. And so these guys have their purpose. They're here for a reason. Now, these little barred rocks, they shouldn't be laying yet, I don't think. Nope, still no eggs. I check them every day just in case they surprise me, but nothing. Got a few eggs anyway this morning. Now these free range guys, there's no telling where we'll find their eggs at. So there's a few in here. I'll have to hunt around later, see if I can find some of their other ones, because I know they've got more than that. But they have a purpose. And the big red chickens, they're up old enough now, they're beginning not to lay these like they should. So it won't be too much longer once these barred rocks get big enough to really start laying eggs, those big red chickens are going to have a different purpose because they're no longer fulfilling this purpose. Now it's time to butcher the 2 rabbits that have been doing what I needed them to, but now they're done doing that. We had them in the grow out pen. We were moving them around in the garden area before we planted the garden, and they were fertilizing. One of them is a male that I'm not so sure, maybe that its mama didn't castrate it when it was little. And then the other one is a female that we've had for a couple years that just isn't a good mom. We give her a few tries. Should have got rid of her a long time ago. We're just now getting rid of her. So today they will get butchered and out of that grow out pen. So we got room for the other rabbits, and they will become dog food for Sylvie. Sylvie will go ahead and, I didn't feed her any dog food a while ago. I'll go ahead and give her one of these rabbits when I'm done butchering it. And the other one will go in the fridge, and she'll get the other one tomorrow probably. So I don't know how much YouTube will let me show on this butchering process, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to get them out of that grow out. I'm going to get them out of that grow out pen. I'm going to take my hatchet and I'm going to pop them in the back of the head. Because I'd like to save the 22 bullets, because, you know, that stuff's not getting cheaper either, or easier to find. So I'll pop it in the back of the head with a hatchet. That will end its life. Then I will string it upside down, and I'll show you kind of that process. It's a pretty simple process. You know, I find it funny, YouTube will hit you on things like showing animals being butchered. However, Victoria can get on her YouTube channel and leave no secrets, and it seems to be just fine. So, you know, whatever. I'm going to show the rabbits being butchered. YouTube, if you don't like it, get your AI system in gear and let it show me that I'm not supposed to do that. I know I'm supposed to follow community guidelines to the best of my ability, but a little bit of reality needs to be done as well. So we'll show you kind of a little bit of the rabbit process. My little chintzy setup for butchering a handful of rabbits. If I had to do a bunch of them, my little setup wouldn't work all that great, but just for 1 or 2 here and there, it's not bad. Even if you got to do about 5 or 6 of them, it's not too bad. Just a quick little setup works pretty good. Purpose, it all has purpose, right? And so we will show you what these rabbits are here to do. All right, guys, well, I didn't want to save you the whole whacking them in the head part. So I already did the one, got her done, cleaned up, already feeding her to Sylvie. The other one here, we went over and whacked him in the head. Now I did want to say this, anytime you take a rabbit, a chicken, just about any of them, and you whack them in the head or you shoot them in the head, they're going to have some movement afterwards. They're still, so a chicken, for sure, you know the old saying, a chicken with its head cut off? You're acting like a chicken with its head cut off. Them things will run around your yard for a little bit. Rabbits, though, so growed up doing a lot of rabbit hunting even. I mean, even if you 22 them things right in the noggin, get a perfect shot on them, they'll still, their back legs and stuff will still kind of do one of them numbers for just a little bit. So first time you're ever going to do this, just don't be shocked. I don't know of a way to stop that short of like maybe, I don't know, something really, really sharp, just chopping their head off. Maybe their legs wouldn't do that. But got that over with. Got this rabbit done. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I string him up real quick. So we have got this stick here that I have a piece of wire running up to that limb, and I use this stick to try to help me. So I will hang this rabbit by its back legs off of this stick to skin him and work him up real quick. So here he is. This is an offspring of that other big mama rabbit we got in there that looks like a wild rabbit. That's what this guy is. He's an offspring of her. Obviously has the coloration of a wild rabbit. Whole lot bigger than our wild rabbits, but so if it puts you into comparison, that's a size 14 boot next to that guy, right? So he's a big old thing. But he is going to get strung up and used for dog food because he served his other purpose. And so what I will do is right along here, right here where my finger is, there's a tendon right there, and I'll run my pocket knife in there. You can do 100% of a rabbit processing with a pocket knife, but I'll run my pocket knife in between. You just have to feel it, and you can feel it with your thumb and your index finger, that tendon in there. I will run my pocket knife between the leg bone and that tendon, and I'll hang him up, and I'll show you what that looks like. I obviously can't show you the process because I don't have that many hands. I'd be curious just exactly how much old fat boy ways there. He's pretty stout. He's pretty heavy feller. Here he is hung up. Once again, you can see where we made that cut, run that stick through. That stick allows me to keep him kind of spread out there, like so. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pocket knife and I'm going to make a cut all the way around here. And then I like to dive it down right into its, I don't know how else to say it, right into the crotch area of that rabbit. And I'll do the same thing over here. I'll cut all the way around and then I'll dive down into here and I'll be able to peel all that down. Now for a rabbit, it's an easy process. The skin's really easy to work with. It's easy to skin them. Probably one of the easiest animals that I know of to process, if I'm just being honest with you guys. Way easier than a chicken, easier than bigger animals just because it's less of it. A person could process a whole bunch of these in one day if you really set in to do it. So anyhow, we will kind of show you the next step here. I just wanted to show you guys kind of what that looked like. So around the leg, boy, I got a lot of hair. I'm glad this is for the dog and not us. Peeled around the legs there, and just got them just below the legs. And now this fur, this is an older rabbit, so it's not near as easy, but it will just kind of pull right down, as you can tell. Nothing too hard at all. It's hard to do one-handed, but it will peel right down. Might need a little knife work right here. This is hanging pretty hard, especially on this older rabbit. You get an 8 to 12 week old rabbit, and then you could just about with one hand just peel him right down. But this is kind of the process. I'll latch a hold of him with both hands. Quit recording here long enough to latch a hold of him, and we will get him the rest of the way skint. So here's what we look like skint, right? Went ahead and cut his feet off, top feet, shoulder feet, front feet, head. Once again, all that with a pocket knife. You just follow the joints. If you skin it down to the feet, you will feel where his actual little feet are at the end of his leg there, and you can bend them and get right in that joint, and your pocket knife will slice right through that. Same thing with his head. Just find you a spot through his neck that your knife will go through. You don't have to push very hard at all. It'll go right through. Now we'll gut this guy. Probably won't show you the guts individually. However, I do go ahead and save the kidney, the liver, and the heart. Give that to the Sylvie. She'll eat them up. Good for her. All kinds of vitamins and minerals in those things. Excellent meat for her to eat. And so I will give that to her, and then discard the rest of the guts. All right, guys. Here's our freshly butchered rabbit. If that wasn't going to be dog food, I'd have hosed it off real good and made it nice and pretty. However, it's just going in a sack, and it's going to be dog food by tomorrow morning. Purpose, man. Make sure you have a plan and a purpose for your animals, for your plants, for those kinds of things, instead of everything's too expensive right now to waste money on feed and work effort and all those sorts of things. Also, understanding that things need to have a purpose. You might consider the purpose of your life. You might consider the purpose of news stories that you're watching, of news articles that you're reading. You may consider what people have to gain and what the purpose might be behind those before you decide what's fact or fiction. Appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you next time.